Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final installment of The Art of Storytelling. I would like to thank you all for joining me this evening, and I would like to thank the Borough of Roaring Spring for making this program possible. Now, over the last few weeks, we have been talking about different parts of the story. And this evening, I would like to talk a little bit about the plot. Now, the plot is what happens in a story, and it consists of a certain set of events that move our story forward. And it consists of 5 main parts. You have your exposition, or your introduction, your rising action, your climax, falling action, and then finally, of course, your resolution. Now, the exposition or introduction is the introductory information that the reader needs to understand the story. This is where you're going to, your setting, introduce your characters, but also you're going to introduce what's considered normal for your characters in the story. And then you have what is called your rising action. And that's the basic conflict that's going to kick the story off. That's why in your exposition, you need to set what's considered normal so when the conflict arises, the reader can see the difference. And basically, when your rising action is what you want your readers to clearly understand your conflict. And it's what leads up to your climax. And that is the point of the story where the action and conflict kind of come to a peak, where it all comes right to the top. And that is the moment when your character's choice is going to determine what happens. And then you have your falling action. And your falling action is where you address any other questions in the story or fill in any holes. And also, it's where you explore the result of your character's decisions. And then, of course, finally, you have your resolution. And that is when the conflict in a story is resolved. Basically, you reestablish the normal that you did in your exposition, but you also want to include how these series of events and experiences changes your character. So, what I find very useful when trying to plan out the plot of my story is these neat little things called plot diagrams. You can see that there. And basically, it gives you your 5 main parts, and it helps you connect them in order to keep your reader's attention. And also to help your story not go off in too many directions. Because when it goes off in too many directions, then things become confusing to your reader. So you want to keep it going in a nice streamlined direction, of course, but you also want to incorporate, again, the right amount of details at the right amount of time in order to keep your reader's interest. Now, I do have some really great news as well. Starting in September, we will be continuing with the Art of Storytelling Part 2. So you're going to want to tune in starting September 9th at 5:30 for a continuation where we'll develop more and more techniques how to tell effective stories. And also be sure after this to check out our bonus video, an interview with Mr. Earl J. Henry. I thank you all very much for joining me. And if you still haven't registered, you can stop and pick up your materials at the library. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you in September.